Howdy. Some are following the white rabbit. Some are following white rivers. That's a small collage I did about white rivers. And these are just a few examples. I think there are many, many more of these. And I am still, whenever I have time, I'm searching for them. I'm trying to get some text together about white rivers. And in order to write something by myself and in order to somehow get some collection of evidence together about what I am writing or what I think, I have to read. And I stumbled across a paper and I wanted to share a few things from that paper with you. And it's actually uh, about this river here. So this was now really hard to make, this one line there. But anyway, I will put a link below to this paper. You can read it in all the time you need to. I don't want to bore you with these things. But anyway, the Tagliamento River, a model ecosystem of European importance. Many people were writing this abstract. In northeastern Italy is a remarkable floodplain river that retains the dynamic nature and morphological complexity that must have characterized most alpine rivers in the pristine stage. This river system, the Fiume d'Agliamento, constitutes an invaluable resource, not only as a reference site for the Alps, but as a model ecosystem for large European rivers. That the Tagliamento has a number of attributes that have not been given due consideration in river ecology. First, an immense corridor of more than 150 kilometers that connects the land and the sea and two biomes, the Alps and the Mediterranean. Second, unconstrained floodplain segments characterized by a dynamic mosaic of aquatic terrestrial habitats. And third, a large number of vegetated islands, approximately 700. We believe it is critical to understand the functional roles of these endangered attributes in order to effectively engage in river conservation and management programs. The Tagliamento River in Italy offers the rare opportunity to investigate natural processes at a scale that can be studied almost nowhere else in Europe. So, river conservation and management programs. I would say this seems to be this kind of uniformitarianism attitude to the whole thing. As it has been in the past, it will be now, and it will be in the future. Nothing ever will change. Uh, let's go a bit further. I was really interested about these flow poles and flood poles. Gravel bed rivers are characterized by their dynamic nature, by alluvial deposits containing groundwater aquifers, and by geomorphic features that include extensive floodplains. Braided gravel bed rivers are widespread in temperate Piedmont and mountain valley environments. Today, much of the world, however, gravel bed rivers bear little resemblance to their highly dynamic natural state. The primary features that characterize gravel bed rivers are often the ones most strongly influenced by human intervention. In other words, if there is a flood again, like they may have been doing all those 1,000 years since their creation, and there are so many people living there and digging stuff out there and all these kind of things, they will be affected immediately. And I still think those rivers might be very well this kind of gazy or volcanic like geological feature. So we would expect them to erupt once then again, like they have done. Obviously, otherwise we wouldn't have this kind of rivers. But anyway, let's go on. Hmm. In Europe, for example, almost all large alpine rivers were drained during the first half of the 20th century, in many cases over 100 years ago. The remaining natural and semi-natural remnants, less than 10% of the total river length, are primarily located in the uppermost headwaters. A recent survey of all Austrian rivers with catchment area of less than 500 kilometers showed that formerly braided and meandering sections have been particularly affected by regulation. At present, 25 of confined river sections, but only 1% of braided and meandering sections remain intact. So, which means they are not really visible anymore in many places. Hmm, I have to scroll down a bit. Geology and glacial history. The alpine area of Friuli mainly consists of limestone with a spatial sequence of Silurian, Devonian, Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous formations north to south. A precise delineation of the watershed of the Tagliamento is almost impossible due to the high complexity of groundwater drainage through the limestone karst. Limestone is occasionally intermixed with layers of gypsum that lead to high sulfate concentrations in the Tagliamento. The catchment is tectonically active, continuously developing faults and overthrusts. Many tributary streams, like the Fella, have sharp bends following the direction of these faults. The Prealpine mountains mainly consist of limestone. The Friulian plain consists primarily of tertiary and quaternary sediments. The upper plain consists of a vast alluvial aquifer several hundred meters deep and is composed of fluvioglacial sediments of high permeability. To the south, the aquifer sediments are intermixed with layers of marine deposits, which reduce permeability and result in upwelling of groundwater. The lowest glaciers of the Alps are located in the Julian Alps on the northern slopes of Mount Canin, 2,587 meters above sea level, with the termini of the glaciers with altitudes less than 2,000 meters above sea level. Within the last decades, however, the glaciated area has decreased from about 10 square kilometers to 3. Harsh environmental conditions also are reflected by the position of the tree line at about 1,500 meters above sea level, 3 to 500 meters lower than in the Central Alps. Really interesting. Really interesting. Let me search still something and then we will jump into the Julian Mountains, Julian Alps. There's something really cool. Yeah, here is actually a picture of the river. But I'm still searching for this other thing I wanted to show you, even though it's not really my piece of cake since I'm not a chemist. Flow and flood pulses. Flooding represents the major physical disturbance along the river corridors. Rivers also experience frequent but smaller water level fluctuations that occur well below bankful discharge. Although not responsible for rapid morphological restructuring, these flow pulses are important for creating and maintaining habitat heterogeneity and for ecosystem processes. But it wasn't still the thing I wanted to show you. Here it is. Physicochemical characteristics. There are many shortenings and stuff, I have no idea what they are. Chemical composition of surface water reflects the geological setting of the catchment. The Tagliamento is classified as an alkaline river with a pH of 7.5. So we are not talking really about fresh water in a way, it would be 7. Specific conductance of 250 micro s square, whatever, and the predominance of calcium 2, about 100 milligram per liter upstream of the confluence with the Fella River. Magnesium? No, it's not magnesium. Mg. I always think it's magnesium, but it isn't. Maybe it is. Along the river, specific conduction decreased from 2000 in the uppermost headwaters to about 450 in the lower reaches. It is really interesting that even though I don't really understand what they are, all those things, I have been checking them out, but I forgot them. I admit. But the Tagliamento is classified as an alkaline river. Alkaline. Which seems to me being geothermal activity, since it's not just really fresh water. There is something special to the water in that, which I think correlates really well with what I think about these white rivers, that these are actual marks of some kind of volcanic activity. Geothermal activity is a part of volcanic activity. So is there any possibility that we have, wherever we see those white rivers, a volcano? Just as one example, a white river, and it is Mount St. Helens in America, which is a volcano, which has a glacier in it. The world's fastest growing glacier grows inside the caldera of Mount St. Helens. And we have a white river. I haven't yet checked about any specific things about this river near Mount St. Helens, chemical compositions and these kind of things, but I will. And I try to figure out some other rivers, chemical compositions. Is there anything which could correlate really well? Of course, they are not the same. There are differences. But anyway, there might be something which could fit very well together to the whole picture. But let's go to the Julian Alps. So we are in the Julian Alps, Canning Mountains. The Canning Mountains or the Canning Mountains, mostly simply Canning or Canning, are a mountain range in the western Julian Alps, on the border of Slovenia and Italy. The highest summit, High Canning, is 2,587 meters above sea level. They separate the Upper Socha Valley in Slovenia from the Resia Valley in Italy. On the Slovenian side of the mountain range, which is part of the municipality of Bovec, lies a major ski resort, the highest in the country. Among a number of shafts, Glavicha cave holds the record for having the deepest single vertical drop of any cave on Earth at a depth of 603 meters. So we have many caves, and I haven't found yet any pictures about this cave. Because if we go here, there isn't any pictures. Is a karst shaft on the Kanin Plateau, which of the Kanin Mountains, western Julian Alps, on the Slovene side of the border between Slovenia. It has the deepest single vertical drop in the world, 603 meters. The cave formed in the glacier karst landscape. That is a karst landscape that was subjected to Pleistocene glacial activity. Or not. Maybe it was just an electrical discharge melting rock together again with a lot of water. Got fused together. The total depth of the cave is 643 meters. It contains one of the tallest cave waterfalls in the world. The estimated height of the falls is 400 to 440 meters. It was discovered in the summer of 96 by Italian speleologists, and the bottom was reached on October 12, 1996 by a joint Slovene-Italian expedition. We have to find some pictures from that. So now, Virto Glavicha cave. From Slovene, Virto Glavicha, Vertigo, is a cave located inside Mount Canin in the Slovene part of the Julian Alps, near the border between Slovenia and Italy. The cave holds the record for having the deepest single vertical drop of any cave on Earth at a depth of 603 meters. What's that now? That's a different article. So I think that's the same again. The total depth of the cave is 643 meters. It contains one of the tallest cave waterfalls in the world. The estimated height of the falls is 400 to 440 meters. It was discovered, and here is a picture. That's vertical. That's amazing. What? Yeah. Yeah. And I think this could be basically really easily be filled with water. But anyway, the Alps are surprising with their rivers, glaciers, and caves. Really interesting. Alkaline rivers and caves and all what you need. Geothermal activity. Yes, I leave it here. Thanks. Bye.